When you have 21 apartments, you realize that it's a job. I realized that I had a problem. I could continue to do it by myself, or I can join a team.
I would rather own 1% of something that's enormous and great than 100% of something that's crap.
You're going and collecting rent checks, you're going and fixing this, you're going and fixing that. And they knew my phone number, and people were calling me on my overnights, and it was not the ideal scene. And so I actually found Grant on YouTube. It was, hey, I'm buying an airplane. He didn't buy it yet. It was like 3 weeks out. But I also have 4,000 apartments. I actually found him on Bigger Pockets too. He's like, anybody who wants to join my team, call my office. And so what did I do? I called his office. So I went from owning 21 doors, 100%, to owning like 3% of 826 units.
What Ryan recognizes, he's reclaiming time. Now you're the vice president of Cardone Capital. But it requires those two, fiercely independence with understanding that being on a team and being in proximity is actually going to help you to accomplish your goals.
Yeah, well, look, I think that this whole marketing piece of, the boss, it's overrated.
Sorry, say that again.
So the marketing has been, I think there's a lot of mixed marketing in the world today. So I think that a lot of people think that being the boss is the most important thing, when in reality, having a boss or a leader, somebody that's going to put you in a position like on the field, like when you go and, you're like, oh, I want to, be a ball player. You don't want to study baseball or analyst of baseball. You want to be on the field, right? And so I always think of this like this. Whoever puts me on the field today is where I want to be. And I just realized really early on that if I can get around Grant Cardone, I'm going to be playing a much bigger game, and I'm actually going to be on the field today rather than trying to be my own boss. And, oh, I want to go and start my own deal. I don't want that. I actually think life is more fun with people. I've got a team of 30 people right now at Cardone Capital. I assure you, I couldn't have done that by myself. And so when you start lining up the team, like I hired a COO that managed 18,000 apartments. Okay, well, that's asset management. I don't want to do asset management. I want to do deals and raise money. Specifically answering your question, you have to realize, okay, I'm an entrepreneur working for one of the greatest entrepreneurs in the world. Now, there's one thing you have to identify. There are people like Grant who want other entrepreneurs around them. Because look, if I'm being micromanaged every single day, that doesn't work for me. Grant also is unique because some people you go in, they're like, oh, well, no, you can't do this because I'm the boss. You'll never build a big business that way. You guys understand that, right? So Grant has identified, I need people around me, strong people around me to go and build a big business because Grant's 68, I'm 41, and Sabrina, his daughter, is 16. You got to start laying these tracks and stop thinking about 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years. You got to start thinking about generations. I look at a bunch of resumes today and they're like, oh, I've been there for 9 months. Okay, great. Next. Okay, I've been there for a year. Next. I've been there for 30 days. Next. What are they going to do to me? They're going to bail. I always look at who do you want to be? What do you want to grow into? And just find somebody who's already doing it. Guys, if there's one shortcut, it's not the strategy. You got to change this right here inside of you saying, I'm willing, I'm open to learn from other people. My brother, I told you the story, right? He was unwilling to learn from my uncle who was a millionaire. I could shake him some days and say, why would you not listen to somebody that's doing better than you? He was listening to the people who were doing worse than him, and he got into trouble. I was listening to people who were doing better than me. So that way, one day when I was 31 years old, I became a millionaire. And then once you make your first million, you figure out the game. You don't figure out the game once you make a million, but you start stacking these chips where you're like, okay, like I've studied Grant. I've studied him. Most people who come into the organization, they're like, how do I make money? No. I told Grant this before. I would have come to work for Grant, flown for him, done real estate for free.
Yeah, which, by the way, is what you're doing being in this room, is getting around winners, getting around people that are thinking bigger, getting around people that are doing more, right? Now, you're at a place now where you're actually in rooms with like the Goldman Sachses. You're in rooms with big money, Wall Street. So I'm curious, you went from learning, because I know you're a consummate student and constantly absorbing and learning from everybody around you, including Grant, learning from your millionaire uncle, builder, learning from Grant. What are you learning being in those rooms about how they think about money, how they think about deals, and how that's different than the way the vast majority of us think about things?
They do think about money completely different. in the people that I have conversations with now today, they run huge organizations, right? Like they're the biggest builders in the U.S. They run some of the biggest banks and funds. I think one of the biggest takeaways is there is abundance. There is a lot of money. You just have to be well equipped to go and grab the money. You're only going to be paid for what the market's willing to pay you.
I think you touched on something which is interesting.
Yeah.
Is there any shortage of money on planet Earth?
Definitely not a shortage.
Not.
It's actually the deals that are the most important. It's actually not the money. If you can go out and find the right deal, you will find the money. I used to think that I have to have the money first and then go and find the deal. But it's because inside of Ryan at 24 years old, I didn't have the confidence in myself because remember, I was changing identities. And we all do this, by the way. I'm going from a pilot to a real estate investor, and it takes time. But if I knew what I knew today, I would have bought a lot more real estate from the day I started investing. But there's no shortage of money. It's just a shortage of confidence in the deals and giving the people who are selling the deals the certainty that you can actually pull it off.
If you work long enough and hard enough, you'll eventually work with your mentors. My God, that's Alex Lair. He makes $1 million a year. That's unbelievable. I'd be so nervous to go talk to him. That model is in the process of dying. So you think you're solving a problem when you're actually creating more problems.
Because if you're adaptive, you're going to thrive. If you're not, you're going to be in the ice with the rest of the dinosaurs.
I think a lot of people imagine they're just lucky. The vast majority who sit on panels who run teams, they don't make that much money. Everybody looks at gross, we clap them on the back, nobody looks at net.